Joining me now, former prosecutor Wendy Murphy and psychotherapist Dr. Robi Ludwig. Good to see you both. So, Wendy, I'll start with you on this. The credibility being questioned here from the Jackson family saying, look, these two boys at the time said that Michael Jackson did nothing during the trial, and now they're alleging this. And the Jackson family is saying it's all for financial gain, Wendy.
Look, those are fair questions to raise in terms of their credibility. And if this were a run-of-the-mill case and one of these guys had lied under oath, I think you'd have a tough time persuading anybody, much less the public, in a documentary that you're telling the truth now. But this is not a run-of-the-mill case. This is a very, very special case where an incredibly powerful and wealthy man not only did horrific things to the children when they were children, but persuaded them not to tell, told them to keep it a secret, abused them and loved them, making it very, very difficult and confusing for them to make sense of it all. It is not uncommon for a child abuse victim not to get it all together, figure out that it was abusive, and find the strength to tell the truth until many, many years later. So from my perspective, the fact that they're coming forward now, the fact that they've not told the truth in the past, even lied under oath, makes sense. It does not undermine their credibility to me at all.
And Robi, CNN toured the Neverland Ranch after Michael's death and learned of an apparent secret room that was in one of the areas of the home of the ranch. Let's listen.
Michael Jackson's closet, basically in the back end of it, it had double deadbolt locks and then this little door where he could go in there, and it was basically a safe area. If something had happened at the ranch, the idea was that anybody there could find a place to hide, specifically Michael.
And Dr. Robi Ludwig, if this in fact did happen, the two boys are saying, look, the parents were groomed as well in terms of Michael Jackson's stardom and a trust that was developed.
Absolutely. And I agree with Wendy. It's not uncommon for kids who have been sexually abused to come out much, much later, in part because it's psychically overwhelming to negotiate what it means to have somebody that you love who is abusing you. It doesn't compute, it doesn't make sense. And very often the parents are involved. So someone like Michael Jackson has huge stardom, seduces the parents, which you have to do if you want to get access to the children. So very often these kids not only are protecting Michael Jackson, they're protecting themselves psychologically because there's a lot of shame and guilt, and they're also protecting their own parents. So this kind of honesty can take years to come out. Not uncommon, happens quite often.
And I do want to point out, it is alleged, not proven. The Jackson family, of course, saying this is all a fabrication, all lies. But Wendy, New York Times writing an article saying Michael Jackson cast a spell, leaving Neverland breaks it, meaning how famous Michael Jackson was and still is. People love his music. They loved him, adoring fans everywhere, Wendy. How much do you think fame plays into this and continues to?
Boy, it plays a lot. I mean, I wanted to disbelieve this too, and I advocate for victims of abuse because I was a fan of Michael Jackson and loved his music so much, and I wanted to keep hold of that image I had of him. Letting go hurts because we do enjoy how we feel about his music and his personality and so forth. But we also know that the fact that he put himself out there as someone who loved children more than the rest of us, we now know that that was part of his ploy. You know, the Ferris wheel on his front lawn, these were ways that he abused us as an adoring public, making us believe not only was he not the type who could hurt a child, but the opposite. He loved children more than the rest of us. And that's a betrayal that's hard for people to accept. I accept it. I've rejected a long time ago. I once called him the Teflon molester after the trial in '05. I couldn't believe the jury found him not guilty. There was so much evidence, compelling evidence. But I've rejected that image that I once had of Michael Jackson. I still love his music, but I have no trouble seeing him as a monster. That is exactly what he is.
Alleged, gotta say it again, but Robi, couple seconds left. Could this be a cycle of abuse? There has been allegations about the father abusing Michael.
Well, very often when we see people who are abusers, they have been abused and they repeat that pattern. That's how they tell their story. That's how they express themselves. They're damaged at a certain age. And it's also not uncommon for people who are sexual abusers to not always see themselves in a negative or evil light because they know themselves and they might in fact believe that they are loving children in the right kind of way, even though on some level they know they're wrong.
Wendy Murphy, Dr. Robi, Ludwig, thank you.